DFID, one or the other. Anyway, and why are we as KPMG here with John? KPMG won a very competitive tender to manage the AECF. So KPMG is the fund manager. We have various consortia partners with us, but KPMG manage the AECF. We started in June 2008. We launched in Cape Town, the World Economic Forum, and we had a fund of $36 million. We are now 2 years and a bit older than that. Our fund size is now $90 million. We're very proud of that. In the financial climate that we've been working in, to see a fund grow by nearly 3 times in 2 years is very exciting. We will celebrate our $100 million before Christmas this year. That I assure you, and that is a big milestone for us. But we're not going to stop there. There is so much demand for what we do, and there's so much that we can make a difference with working with the private sector in Africa that we want to be $200 million in another year or 2. What are we about? Basically, the focus of what we do and our ultimate objective is to increase jobs and incomes for large numbers of poor people living in rural areas across Africa. That's what we want to achieve, and we're talking about large numbers here. We want to make a difference to the lives of millions of people living in rural areas of Africa, and we want to do that in partnership with you, the private sector. We work by supporting the private sector, supporting private sector companies to develop and test new and innovative business ideas in agribusiness, and I'll talk a little bit about that this morning, rural financial services, renewable energy, and adaptation to climate change in Africa. We are Africa-wide. We're not just Kenya or East Africa or Rwanda. We cover the continent of Africa. How do we support the private sector? We arrange and manage competitions for the private sector to compete for our money. The private sector competes every day of its life. I think you can compete for our money, and our experience is that the private sector, when you give it the opportunity to compete, comes forward with exciting new business ideas, innovative business ideas, and that's what we are looking for. Why will you like us? Not just because of the money you might win, but we believe we operate in a business-like way. We're business-friendly. When we say we're launching a competition on a certain day, we launch it. When we say we're going to close it on a certain day, we close it on that day. When we say to you that you will hear the result of that competition by a certain date, you will hear it on that date. You will know in advance when the results of the competition will be published. They will be published on the day that we say they're going to be. So if you enter our competitions, you're not going to be wondering in 9 months' time or a year's time what happened. We will tell you what happened, and we will stick to our dates, and we will deliver. Once we're operational with you, we expect you to be business-like with us. When we say we want reports on a certain day, we expect them. But that's only fair. If you want things changed or altered, we will deal with them on time. We want to be business-like, we want you to be business-like, we want to do business with you, we want to do business together. We have a very transparent system that allocates our funds, that we believe does select, choose and back the right businesses. That last line there on the slide, it's not just a one-way ticket. I will explain more. But if you want money from us, you've got to put your own money on the table. It's not a completely free holiday. What are we actually looking for? And this across all our competitions. What we're looking for is commercially viable projects. That's number one. If the projects we support are not commercially viable, they won't be there next year. We might create jobs, but they'll go away. We might increase incomes, but they won't last. Please, business, just because we're a donor fund, don't come with a project that you would say is corporate social responsibility. If you put corporate social responsibility in your application form, we automatically withdraw it. We're here to partner with you to do business, not to do corporate social responsibility. Not that corporate social responsibility isn't good, of course it is. But this program is not about CSR, it's about partnering you in business to support commercially viable operations. They may be risky. We want them to be. We want them to be innovative. We want them to be new. But they've got to be driven by a desire that they're going to be commercially viable and make profit. We want to make a development impact. Those projects we support, the beneficiaries of that must be people living in rural areas and people and relatively poor people. And we want to go to scale. We're not interested in projects that are only going to benefit a few hundred people. We're looking for things that are going to make a real difference. What are we looking for? If you see the left-hand side of that graph, the bottom is social motivation, the top is business and commercial motivation. We're looking for projects that are commercially motivated rather than socially motivated. We're looking for projects that are highly innovative, because we believe that projects that are commercially viable and are innovative have the potential to make a big change to the markets in which you operate. I want to give you an example quickly to understand what I'm talking about. A predecessor fund of ours, also funded by DFID, funded Vodafone to start M-Pesa. How many people you've heard of M-Pesa? Yeah, okay. M-Pesa is a money transfer system on a cell phone. It started 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago in Kenya. It now has 9 million people that use M-Pesa to transfer money. And as you may know, everyone's trying to copy it in every country across the continent of Africa. That's what we like. Projects that are going to be innovative and new, but ones which everybody else will copy. If everybody else copies them, then it's going to make a real difference to a much wider population. Why we're different from a venture capital fund is that a venture capital fund always goes out there to try and pick the winner. We're not interested in picking winners. We want to start races. We're happy to fund 4 projects in the same sector. Let them go and compete. And if we can change that sector by backing those, that's what we're really looking for. I said at the beginning, we launched in June 2008. This is where we are today. We've organised 7 competitions since that time. We funded 39 projects in 16 countries on the continent. As of next week, it will be 49 projects in 19 countries across the continent. We've committed $32 million of that first $36 million we received to projects. We provide, as I will explain later, straight grants and loans. Half of our money has gone out in loans, half in grants, about 16 million each. The private sector has committed $105 million to those projects. So we have an investment portfolio of projects worth currently $138 million. We estimate that 2.5 million people across Africa will benefit from those. In 2.5 years, we think that is something to be proud of. So is it easy to win our money? It's actually quite hard, but if you compete hard and fight hard, you can win too. Just to give you an idea, over the last 2 years, 3,124 companies have registered for our competition. Of those, 1,600 companies have submitted fully complete and eligible bids for our money. We have a system where we shortlist the best of those and we take them to an independent investment committee, as I will explain. 230 projects were shortlisted. It's a two-stage process. There's a business plan competition to follow. 105 of those projects went to business plan. 39 were funded. Quite a fight. If you want to win this competition here, you're going to have to fight as well. But it won't be quite so hard, so don't get so worried. These competitions were Africa-wide. You were competing there with the whole of Africa. Sadly, we don't have a single project in Rwanda to date, but as of the end of next week, I believe we will have, in the 10 that we are just about to announce. It's not for me to announce who that winner is. But in a year's time, I don't want to be saying that. I don't want to be saying we've got 10 projects in Rwanda, because Rwanda is a great place to do business and there's lots of potential. The competition will be tough. You have to take it seriously. You have to compete with a lot of people. But it's there, and if you do the right proposals, you can win. 2 competitions are currently open for Rwanda. The first of these is a competition we call Research into Business, which is about commercializing agricultural research and technology. This is focused on agribusiness companies that want to take research that's been done in research stations, or by the companies themselves, or new technologies they've developed for agriculture, and commercialize and put these things into business. The second, which is the main reason for us being here today, is to launch the renewable energy AECF React. Quickly, on Research into Business, this is about commercializing agricultural research and technology. It's a special window open only to business ideas that are based on agricultural research. It's an Africa-wide competition. You're competing across the continent of Africa for this money. It is also funded by DFID. There's $20 million up for grabs for that competition. It has a special part of it, which is something called the virtual marketplace, which is a brokerage on our website which joins up companies to research stations. Research stations publish what they think are their best commercializable ideas, and we encourage the private sector to go there and get them. We have already run 1 round of this competition, and the results will be announced on the 20th of November. Round 2 of this competition opened in October. It is still live. It closes in December, on December the 15th this year. That's a screenshot of our website. That's the virtual marketplace, which is the brokerage where business and agricultural research can come together.